Hello friends, welcome you all to this video of constitutional bodies. So we are dealing one by one the constitutional bodies. The next constitutional body which we are going to discuss today is about the GST Council, Goods and Service Tax Council. This is a new chapter. This chapter is not present in the Lakshmikant previous editions. In the new edition, this GST Council is included. So this video is very exclusive. So today we will discuss about the GST Council, starting from the establishment, about the composition, how is this commission working, about its meetings, those things, and finally about the main important functions of this GST Council. Okay. So before talking about the council, first we should talk about the GST. So this GST has been passed as 101 amendment by the Modi ji government, and this GST has been brought into existence. So earlier actually there were many indirect taxes imposed on the goods. That's why there was double taxation and cascading effects. So to minimize these and to give an effective way for this GST has been introduced. I hope you could all have a great idea about GST, because this much years and in economics also, in newspaper also, this much times it has come, and I hope you all have a great understanding about GST. You all know there are three types of GST, and about the central GST, state GST and IGST, integrated GST. So while basically I will give a rough idea. If you are moving your goods within Tamil Nadu, let us say within a state, inside Tamil Nadu, from Madurai to Chennai, you are just moving the goods, then your state GST and the central GST comes into place. On the other hand, if you move the goods between two states, which means interstate, between Tamil Nadu and Kerala interstate, then integrated GST also comes into play. That is a rough idea. And you all know about the tax slabs of GST. I hope that is very well enough. So I will give a practical example how this GST works out. Okay. Because before talking about the council, I hope we should understand what is GST actually. So before GST, introduction of GST, there were multiple taxations on the same goods. That was the double taxation and cascading effect. To minimize that only, this GST has been amended. So how effective it is? Just have an example. Okay, a manufacturer is there and he is producing a good. He is getting raw materials and he has produced that good. Okay, that good cost is, let us say, rupees 100. Okay, on this 100, 5% GST is levied. Let us take an example. Okay, 100 is the price, and on that 100 rupees, 5% GST has been applied. Okay, in that 5% GST, the split up is CGST is 2.5 and SGST is 2.5. So totally 5% GST. Rupees 100 plus 5% of GST, which brings about to 105 rupees. Okay, so the manufacturer is selling the goods, including GST, selling the good at a price of 105. Okay, so what happens? The trader will get the goods from the manufacturer at the price of 105. Okay, in this 105, 100 will go directly to the manufacturer, and the rupees 5, what this manufacturer is getting, that rupees 5 will be paid as GST by the manufacturer. Okay, so manufacturer has paid his GST. Now what happens? The second stage, trader to the retailer. Trader has to sell the good to the retailer. Okay, trader has got from the manufacturer the rate of 105. Now when trader is selling to the retailer, he wants some profit, right? So he will add some more money. So now the trader want to sell the good to the retailer. Okay, so you leave the GST. So now the trader has got the good at the price of 100 rupees from the manufacturer. Okay, so now he will add some profit. So 10 rupees profit. He wants 10 rupees profit. So the price is 110. So now the retailer has to buy from the trader at the price of 110 rupees. On this 110 rupees, we add again 5% of GST. Okay, so 110 rupees plus 5% of GST, which brings about 115.5%. Okay, so now the retailer has to pay a price of 115.5 rupees. 115.5 rupees he has to pay to the trader to get the good. Okay, so now 115.5% is to the trader. Out of this 115.5%, this 110 directly goes to the pocket of trader, okay, including his profits. The remaining 5.5 rupees, okay, the remaining 5.5 rupees, in that already 5 rupees has been paid by the trader as GST to the manufacturer. Okay, already in this 5 rupees has been paid by the trader to the manufacturer as GST. So the remaining is 0.5 only. Okay, so the trader will pay rupees 0.5 as GST. Okay, this is just an example I am saying on a small scale. Okay, so now that is done. Now come to the third stage. Retailer has to sell the good to the consumer. Okay, the final end product consumer. Now what happens? We know it is 110 rupees. Okay, now retailer also wants to add some profit. So he will add again a 10 rupees. So now it brings about 120. Out of that 120 rupees, we will add 5% of GST. Okay, GST comes into play now. 120 plus 5% of GST, which brings about 126 rupees. Okay, so now the consumer finally wants to buy the product at the rate of 126 rupees. Out of this 126 rupees, okay, this 120 directly goes into the pocket of retailer, including the 10 rupees profit. Okay, the remaining 6 rupees, in this remaining 6 rupees, already the retailer has paid 5.5% GST to the trader. So the remaining 0.5 only will be paid as GST by the retailer. Okay, consumer has also, finally the consumer has also paid the GST. Okay, he has paid 6 rupees GST to the retailer. Retailer also paid the GST. Trader also paid the GST. So in this, starting from manufacturer till consumer, everyone has paid the GST. And nobody has paid double taxation. Everybody has equally paid GST. So this is the concept of GST and why this has been a successful one in India. So that is about the rough idea of GST. Other than that, the tax slabs and those about the SGST, CGST, IGST, if I go on and explain, it will become an economy lecture. I am stopping it here. That is with respect to polity. Now we'll jump into the council. So now about the GST council. First of all, why there is a need for a GST council? Okay, GST has been introduced as a new tax regime. GST has been introduced. Why there is a need for a council? Because this new tax regime needs cooperation from both the center and the state. Okay, so when there is a cooperation needed from both center and state, because see, these much years states has been followed a different taxation pattern. Okay, now when you are shifting entirely and introducing a new tax regime, then state will obviously lose some income. Okay, so the support of central is needed for the state. So when this both the cooperation is required, then forming a council or commission is the exact way, and that is why this 101 amendment also had an provision for setting up of a council that is known as the GST council. That is the need, and that is how it has been established. So the secretariat is in New Delhi, GST council secretariat is New Delhi, and the revenue secretary, okay, the revenue secretary, Ministry of Finance, is acting as the ex officio secretary for this GST council also. So that is about the establishment, why it is required, and how about secretariat. Now coming to the composition, which is very much important. I told this GST council, the need is the cooperation of center and the state. So in composition also you can find the states member here also. Okay. So about the composition, the first one is the chairperson or the chairman. Okay. The chairperson of this GST council is the finance minister of India. Second is the union minister of state, revenue, finance. Third one is the respective state finance ministers. All the states finance minister are also a member of this council. These three are the permanent members of this GST council, and finally this chairperson of CBSE, Central Board of Excise and Customs. Okay, that chairperson is also being invited to all the meetings of this council. Okay, he is a permanent invitee to this council. So that is about the composition part. Next, coming to the working. Okay, so speaking about the working of the commission, this commission has a regular meeting. Okay, and all the members, what we have seen, including the finance minister, minister of state for union, and all the state all the state finance ministers, all are the members, including the chairperson of CBSE, permanent invitee. Okay, so these members all will come to the meeting. Okay, so the meeting should happen. There is a quorum. Quorum means the minimum eligibility for the meeting to happen is 1/2 of the members should be present. Then only the meeting can take place. That is the quorum for this council. The second thing is how the decision is being taken in this council. The decision is taken by the majority of votes. On the basis of votes or majority only, the decision is always taken in this council. So what about the weightage of the votes? When coming to the weightage of the votes, the central government will have a weightage of 1/3 and the state governments will have a weightage of 2/3. Okay, since I told the cooperation of center and the state government is necessary for this, that's why the weightage of votes has been given in this fashion. Next of all, there is a clear clarification here. If suppose, let us say in any of the states, finance minister is not there. Okay, he is no more and it is vacant. because of he is not if the state minister is vacant there, he can't attend the meeting. Okay, so you can't come to a conclusion that a place is vacant in the council, GST council, a place is vacant, so that's why the decision taken by the council cannot be validated, nothing like that. Okay, that vacancy, in simple terms, the vacancy of any member of this council does not indicate that the decision taken by the council is invalidating, not like that. Okay, that is one thing. Also, if there is any defect in the appointment of a member of a council also, that can also cannot invalidate the decisions taken by the council, whatever may be. If there is a vacancy or if there is any defect in appointment also, the decision finally taken by the council cannot be invalidated on those grounds. Okay, so that is the thing. Based on the working, once again I am saying there is a quorum. Okay, that is the minimum criteria to for a meeting to take place. That is, 1/2 of the members should be there. Okay, that is a quorum. And about the decisions, every meeting's decision is taken based on the votes, majority of votes. Okay, in that votes weightage, there is a difference. For the central government, the weightage is 1/3, and for state governments concerned, the weightage is given at the rate of 2.3, 2/3 weightage is given. Okay, so that is about the working of the commission. Now coming to the important functions of this GST council. So far we have discussed about the establishment, composition, and about the working of the council. Now we will study about what is the function of this council. The main or the sole important function of this GST council is to give the GST list. What are the goods or what are the products which can be included in the GST list, and what tax slabs, or if there is any exemption for some products, that GST list and tax slabs are discussed by this GST council. Okay, so that is the first function. Next one, various taxes, various cess, various surcharges are there already. Okay, with because there are many indirect taxes and there are numerous cess and surcharges which is being levied by the central or the state governments. Okay, so these surcharges, what are these charges which will get merged with GST? That is also decided by this GST council only. Okay. So another one point I have to clarify here about the cess and surcharge. I hope already you have studied this cess and surcharge in your economics classes, but I have to just make a note here. What is the cess and surcharges? Both are tax on tax. Okay. So this cess, the difference between cess and surcharges, cess is levied for a specific purpose. Let us say Barath cess means this cess is a tax on tax only, but levied for a specific purpose for a specific time, for 1 year or 2 years. But this surcharge is not like that. Okay, it is not for a specific purpose, it is simply levied like that. Okay, there is no specific reason or a specific time period. So what is the example for surcharge? Let us say an annual income, people getting annual income more than 50 lakh, they have to pay 2% surcharge. Okay, so that is one example for surcharge. So like this, and one important note here is both the proceeds, okay, both the proceeds from this cess and surcharge, that will not be distributed between the union and the state. That will go solely to the union. Okay, the proceeds collected from cess and surcharge will not be shared between the union and the states. It will be go solely into the union. Okay, that is one point I have to mention here. So function, I think you are clear. Okay, numerous taxes, cess, surcharges, what will be merged with GST, that is decided by the council. Third one, the threshold limit. Okay, based on the turnover, if a specific turnover is there, if a company or if a product, a specific threshold limit, if it is, this threshold limit will be set by this GST council. If you are exceeding threshold limit, then GST is levied. If you are not exceeding, there is no GST. Like that, your GST council can set that threshold limit. That is one important function. Next one about the special rates. Okay, if there has to be some special rates for what is it, augmenting the funds of India, then that special rates can also be applied by this GST council. This council has the power to levy the special rates. That is one thing. And compensation to states, I have told earlier. Okay, see, the states has been following a regular tax pattern, and when you are changing that entire tax pattern, obviously there is a financial burden for the states. To compensate that financial burden, the central government has to give some compensation to the states. What is that compensation? What is that amount? What is the principle involved in that compensation mechanism? That is discussed by this council. That is one important function. And any other matter referred by the central government involving this GST is also referred to this GST council. Okay, that is one thing. And dispute mechanism. Let us say this council is coming with some recommendation, or it is implementing something. Because of that recommendation or implementation, if there is a dispute between the center and the state or between two states, then this GST council has to involve or it has to devolve a separate dispute mechanism to resolve that dispute. Okay, that is also an important last function of this GST council. So these are the functions of this GST council. Okay, so once again I am just revising this GST council. First of all, I talked what is GST and I gave a practical example how this GST works. And next I talked about what is the need for this council. Okay, because there is a cooperation needed from both the center and the state. That's why a council is needed, and that council is known as GST council. And we talked about the composition, who all are present, starting from the chairperson, finance minister, then minister of state for revenue or finance, and the respective state finance ministers are also members of this council. And also the chairperson of CBEC is a permanent invitee to this council. That is about the composition. And about the working I told. Okay, another one point I have to include here. In working I told, this council will have a regular meeting, and for that meeting to happen, a quorum is there. That is the half of the members should be there. That is the quorum for this meeting. And I told how the decisions are being taken. Decisions are taken by the majority. Okay, that majority, I want to add a point here. Okay, about that majority. That majority should not be less than, okay, the majority should not be less than 3/4 of weighted votes, weightage of votes, okay, of votes present and voting. Okay, this is an important point which I forgot to include it in that while teaching about the working. Okay, so there is a quorum first of all, and next all the decisions are being taken by a majority. That majority should not be less than 3/4 of the weighted votes of the members present and voting. That weighted votes, okay, this weightage, talking about this weightage, central government is given 1/3 of weightage and your state government is given 2/3 of weightage. Okay, that is about the working part. And next about the functions, I have discussed about the function. The main sole function is to fix GST tax slabs for all the products, whether to include or exclude. That is the main function of GST council. And also about the threshold limit. Okay, if a particular turnover, if a company is having this particular turnover, then they are exempted from GST. Like that, setting up of threshold limit is also an important prime function of the GST council. I hope you are clear about this GST and about GST council. Finally, to say this is a constitutional body and there should be an article there. Okay, we know it is 101 amendment, but what is the article which I forgot to mention? It is Article 279, and this GST council is with 279A. 279A gives the powers for the establishment of GST council. Okay, so with that I am closing this GST council. I hope this was very useful for you because this is not present in early Lakshmikant book. This is present in the new edition, and I have covered all the points which is mentioned in the Lakshmikant. Thank you so much.